Hey everybody, today we are going to be talking about mine and Whitney's trip to Lincoln City, Oregon for primarily the Finders Keepers float event, but we had a few more days than just the one for Finders Keepers, so we flitted around and did a few things. The weather was wonderful the whole time we were up there. I don't know about the whole time. The first 2 or 3 days it rained. It rained on us while we were packing. We got the van packed up and got on the road. We had to get out early because we had to go by the liquor store in Crescent City so Whitney could get some Kahlua because we were still celebrating Nog season at that point. So we had to prepare for Kahlua and eggnog.
It should always be Nog season.
So we got that taken care of, got on the road, went up north. I think, I don't know if we were necessarily beelining, but we did take a stop in Bandon, Oregon, and stopped at the Rolling Pin Bacon Brew. And Whitney came inside with me so we could pick a few things. And she made the intelligent decision of going to the restroom and leaving me in charge of picking.
After we had, no, I didn't leave you in charge of picking. We had decided on the 2 things we were going to get. And I walked away thinking we were getting 2 things. And then we left with like 7 things. I'm exaggerating. I think it was only 1 extra thing that you got.
Yeah, I think, we got
Cake?
we got 3 things. We
Biscuit?
got the savory biscuit, which was bacon, sausage, and cheese, which I think we decided we were going to get a savory biscuit. And they had a lemon blueberry biscuit, which we got a lemon blueberry biscuit. And then I ended up seeing the carrot cake, and it didn't have raisins in it. So I was like, oh, Whitney will appreciate a good carrot cake that doesn't have raisins in it. But I think we really enjoyed the savory biscuit. I don't know if either one of us necessarily would have gotten the lemon blueberry biscuit again. There was just nothing special about it. It wasn't that great. And I think I liked the carrot cake more than you because it was comprised of like 50-50 icing to cake.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't blown away by it.
It was good, but I think it was good for me mostly because it was a ton of icing on a fairly moist cake. But we got done in Bandon and made it up to Lincoln City. And the first place we stopped at was the Dee River State Recreation Site. And we got there. Weather wasn't great. We parked the van.
We definitely absolutely beelined for there because I wanted to get some float hunting in that first day because that was Friday. So Finders Keepers is something that Lincoln City does, and we've talked about it before, but it's when they drop out the glass floats and they put like, I think the number's around 3,000 floats each year, but they have certain holidays or weekends or stuff like that they
do bigger drops.
And this weekend that we went up there was their first big drop of the year, and it's their 25th anniversary, and I think they were doing, was it 100 floats?
It was 100 floats for the weekend.
Over a 3-day period, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I was like, we're going to go and we're going to find a float this weekend.
And if you look, I forget who you have to follow. It might be Visit Lincoln City.
It's Explore Lincoln City, I believe.
Explore Lincoln City. They'll either post what the drops are and when they are throughout the year. I think they just announced the ones through like spring, and they've got one where they're dropping like 300 floats.
No, this was the biggest drop of the year.
I thought I saw one the other day. If you, I'll remind you.
Well, there are some like spring break they do like for a whole week, so they'll do more, but it's over a longer period of time. But they post, if you go to explorelincolncity.com, I think it might be, or just search on Google Finders Keepers Lincoln City.
I saw it on Instagram.
Well, yeah, they post it on Instagram, but their website shows all of their big drops throughout the entire year. It's already posted. So that's really cool. And you can figure it out. And then the only time they don't drop them is when there's king tides. So that's during the winter.
And then inclement weather too, right? I thought I saw something where they only drop floats during not necessarily fair weather, because when we were hunting, it wasn't great. It was raining, but I don't know if it's storming, if they'll drop floats.
The only time I ever, or the only thing I remember reading is during the king tides. They don't put any out because they don't want them to get washed away.
Okay, definitely not during king tides, possibly during inclement weather. Check the website and social media for the most accurate information. So we got to Lincoln City and pretty much immediately jumped out of the van and took off down the beach looking for a float.
Yeah, we got there kind of late in the day, towards the end of daylight, maybe 3 o'clock or so, and I wanted to hunt for a little bit, so we walked, I don't know, maybe a mile or two that first day, and then got sick of being wet, I think, and gave up.
It was windy and raining. We left unsuccessful. We did not accomplish the goal on the first day. There are people that have been going and doing finders keepers. One woman said she had been doing it for 13 years or something like that, and she's never found one. So you go and do this. Don't expect that you're going to find a float. The first day you go out, within the first 30 minutes, it's just, there are a lot of people show up for this.
They put out enough floats that it equates to essentially like eight per day, because it's 3,000, and they say, I don't know, I'm not doing that math, but it's and they put them out over a 7-mile stretch of beach throughout Lincoln City, so you have to cover some ground if you want to find one usually.
So we did that. We left there, not necessarily feeling defeated, but without a float. Went over to the outlets and wandered around the outlets for a little while. We did not make the smart decision to get waterproof clothing for the next day, because the next day we were up early for float day number 2
in the rain
and went over. I don't remember if it was a spontaneous decision or if we'd made the decision before that, but we went over and checked out Lincoln City Donuts, which was a neat little place. The owner was super friendly. He was in there cooking up the donuts whenever we came in. He gave us the rundown. He does more of an Italian style dough, and said that, I don't think he added lemon, but I think he said that the Italian flour that he uses lends a lemon flavor.
That sounds right.
Which you would think it would be very discreet in the flavor, but when you taste the dough, you're like, whoa, there's a definite lemon component to this. So he was super friendly. We enjoyed the donuts. We got a cinnamon twist. I said it was very, very tasty. It had a slight lemon finish to it, like all of his donuts did. So it makes for an interesting experience when you have a cinnamon donut with a slight lemon flavor. We got the apple fritter. I said it was an awesome apple fritter. He made his own apple mix. You remember that? He said he cooked up his own apples.
Oh, yeah. And he told us what kind of apples he used, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember what he said, but he used actual apple pieces. So instead of the normal, like, apple pie mix that donut shops use that come out of a 5-gallon bucket, he's actually making his own apple mix for the apple fritters. We got a maple glaze, which wasn't my favorite. It was a thinner maple glaze. And then again, you've got this slightly lemony kind of donut that didn't totally knock it out of the park for me, but I said I would get it again, so I think we enjoyed them. It's a solid donut shop to have in Lincoln City to be able to go to and get.
There's not many options either.
No, there aren't many options. So
otherwise, we would have had more donuts.
I wouldn't tell anybody not to go there. I wouldn't hesitate to tell people to go and try it. He was super friendly, so I'd like to see him sell donuts. His donuts are good. They're just
kind of niche.
Yeah, they're niche. They're interesting, and you kind of, if you're prepared for it, like if somebody tells you, hey, there's kind of a little lemon kick to these, and you're prepared for it, then it won't catch you off guard. But he also tells you that up front, which is really nice. If he hadn't said that, then I think Whitney and I probably would have been a little weirded out and disappointed and been like, why wouldn't you tell people that you've got this lemon flavor going on in your donuts. So we did that and quickly went to Rhodes End State Recreation Site, which I believe Rhodes End is the very north side of where they drop the floats.
Yeah, that's the north end of the beach area, so they'll go from there 7 miles south.
Rhodes End is also a very popular spot for agate hunting in this area. Lincoln City is one of the most well-known agate hunting destinations on the Oregon coast. So we went up there, sat there, ate a few of our donuts, and quickly got ready to go and hunt floats. I stayed behind and got the dog put away and settled, and the van set away. And Whitney brushed her teeth and took off down the beach as fast as she could, looking for a float.
In the rain. But I mean, I'm looking at pictures, and I took the picture of the donuts at Rhodes End at 7:36 in the morning, and there were already multiple cars and multiple people out there heading out to the beach to start hunting.
In the time it took us to sit in the parking lot, drink our coffee, and eat our donuts, there were already people there, a handful of people there, and the crowd easily doubled by the time you got out of the van and were actually headed out to go hunt.
Yeah. It was a lot of people.
And the weather wasn't great. Like we've said before, it wasn't torrential downpour, but it was a steady light rain. Nothing that you necessarily want to be in. And like we're talking about doing this in January, so it's not good weather as far as temperature goes.
Yeah, like it was probably 45, 50 degrees.
With the rain, so overcast. There was no sun. So Whitney, you want to tell your story?
So I took off down the beach while Jake was getting the van all situated so that we could leave Sandy in there, because we knew she would not want to be out on the beach in the rain getting cold and wet while we float hunted. So I started walking down the beach, and I was just walking as fast as I could, trying to pass all the people and walk faster than them so I could cover more ground.
And also scouring the shorelines.
Scouring the shoreline, because they hide the floats between the high tide line and the, I don't remember what they call it, but the where the beach ends, like the grassy dunes and up against the hotels and whatever's along the shore.
Like the seawall.
Yeah, like the seawall. But I was just scouring everywhere, and I think I said I had made it, like a mile and a half, and I was soaked and I was cold.
I put 1.25 miles in my notes. I think that might have been what my watch said, but that could also be where I caught up to you.
I think I said that I had made it over 3 miles total. So I was like getting close to turning around. I was like, this is cold and wet and annoying. I'm going to turn around.
And the whole time I'm chasing you, wondering when I'm going to catch up to you, because you had probably a 15-minute head start on me.
And so I was getting close to turn around, and I looked up ahead of me, and I saw like this brightly colored something on the ground next to a beach entrance. And I looked at it and I was like, that looks like some trash or something. I was like, but I'm going to walk towards it and go see. So I walked towards it and started getting closer. And I realized that it was a float. So I took off running and I grabbed it, and I was holding it, looking at it. And there was a family. I think it was 2 parents and 2 kids. And I guess the dad saw me and he was like, no. And one of the kids saw, and he was like, no, that sucks. And I was like, I'm sorry. I wasn't truly sorry, but I did feel almost a little bad.
You got your float.
But I had my float because it was in between me and them, but it was on the wrong side of the beach entrance, that the wall was blocking it from them, and I could see it from my angle. So I got lucky, and it was a really pretty float.
And looking back, I think we decided it's best to just try to cover as much ground as possible, because according to a lot of people that go out there, the float fairies don't put a whole lot of effort into hiding the floats. They kind of put them out there. They want them to be found. They don't want to hide them in like a super grassy, hard to reach area that people aren't going to get on their hands and knees and look for, and just have these floats sitting out in the wild, uncared for. So, I mean, they put them in places you're going to be able to see it. And there are so many people. You just have to cover enough ground and hope that you're in the right place at the right time after like a dead patch of nobody being around, so that one of the little float fairies can hide a float while nobody's looking. So I was walking down the beach heading for Whitney, and then I see her coming back towards me holding her prize as she's saying, "I got it, I got it, I got it." So we got to do a victory dance 1.5 miles back to the van with people cheering
I was
for
gonna
us.
say that was so funny. People, it was like I think I looked at you and I was like, I feel like a celebrity because people would like walk up to you like, "There, you found a float." The people that were up, I think they were at a hotel, right, where it was kind of
It was an overlook. I don't know if
not
they were at the
cliff, like
hotel, but it might have been in front of a hotel.
people up probably 20 or 30 feet above the beach started clapping when they saw me. It was so funny.
Yeah, people get excited about it. I think everybody was pretty good sports. Not like there's hundreds of people out there looking for
The
floats.
one woman that said she's driven 300 miles like 18 times to go look for one and never found one.
She offered you $50
She
for your
offered to
float.
buy mine. I said no, thank you.
Yeah, so that was fun. I think we enjoyed it. We were soaked by the time we were done. We got back to the van. I had my Duluth pants on. I was like, oh yeah, my Duluth fire hose water resistant pants are going to be fine. I got back. I was soaked through. It would have been wonderful if I would have had the foresight the day before at the outlets to buy the Columbia pants, waterproof pants that they had. You would have been out of luck no matter what. We couldn't find any waterproof pants for you, so it wouldn't have been great for you. But we got our float, finished that up, and that was Whitney actually found her float. If you ever go down there, we decided it was near the Northwest 37th Street beach access. So we did that, went back to the van, got changed, got some dry clothes on, started working on getting warmed up, and then kind of started looking for what we were going to do for the rest of our time. Whitney didn't expect to find a float that quickly, so I think we were both kind of caught off guard. We expected to be on the beach a little bit longer looking for stuff. What are you even looking at over there?
Maps,
Oh, you're looking at
pictures.
maps, trying to revitalize your memory for the trip,
Yeah, this
so I
is.
can keep rambling on.
You can keep talking. I'll pitch in when I have something to say.
So we got done over there, got dressed, and I was kind of just looking for something to go do, and I found Sparky, which is at the Regatta Park in Lincoln City, and Sparky is the Wish Guardian, or Sparky the Wish Dragon. He's super cute. If you're ever in Lincoln City, go to Regatta Park. It's a nice little park. We didn't walk around because the weather wasn't nice. They have public restrooms. It is like there's an elevation slope to the park, so it's on a hill, and I don't know if there were walking trails, but it was a cute park. It was on the water.
I was gonna say they have a little beach
There was
area
a little beach area,
because those are hard to come by.
but if you want to show your kids something really cute, you can go see Sparky the Wish Guardian or Sparky the Wish Dragon. He's I forget what he's called on Google Maps, but he's at Regatta Park, and that was just a nice little place to go and sit in the parking lot for a few minutes and figure out what our next move was going to be and see a local piece of artwork. So we got done over there and then ended up going over to Nestucca Bay Creamery and Cheese Shop.
So we went and drove around Pacific City first.
Did we? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
I
went
see
to,
that now. Pacific City,
and I
and
don't know why I decided I wanted to go to Pacific City just to look and see what was there, I guess.
I think there was a bakery out there that we might have been interested in, but we ended up not going to it. I think we looked at reviews and looked at pictures and decided we weren't interested in going there. We went to Bob Straub State Park and sat there. There are dunes at the park, so you don't really have a view. I think we kind of just ended up there trying to figure out what to do next.
And we watched the people that were walking around in the rain. I don't know if they were, you remember, we were watching
I
them,
think
wondering
they
if they
were
were foraging or something.
foraging. Yeah, I don't know. We did that, and I guess from there, that's when we decided we needed ice cream.
That was when I decided we're this close. We might as well just go over to Nestucca Bay Creamery Cheese Shop.
And we had no idea what we were getting into. It's just a little nondescript, unassuming little white building in the middle of this nowhere town
But
in Cloverdale, Oregon.
but what we did know was that they're a 4.8 on Google from 139 reviews.
So it's got to be something.
And a lot of reviews mention ice cream, so I wanted some ice cream.
So we went over there and walked in, and I mean, she had a small but decent selection of cider. She had some wine. She had some different chocolate goodies. She had some random candies and snacks.
Obviously, all the cheeses that they make, and then you can also sample their cheeses.
She had the sample tray put out for the cheeses, so we got to try like 5 or 6 cheeses.
The cheeses were delicious.
They were.
We didn't get any because we didn't know what we were going to do with them, because we don't try to just sit and eat cheese on a regular basis.
Yeah, because if we would have had a block of cheese, we would have just ended up sitting in the van eating a block of cheese, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but we don't need a block of cheese after ice cream. Yeah, and if we're going to prioritize anything, I'm going to eat ice cream before I'm going to eat a block of cheese. But this ice cream was so good.
So good. So they only do vanilla and chocolate. That's the place that they do vanilla and chocolate, and then you have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different mix-ins that you can choose from. It was like a few different fruits. There was Oreo.
I got
pieces.
Oreos.
Like just a few mix-ins, and then it's one of those, it was like the machine wherever we just went and got
Nico's.
Oh, Nico's, but they like, you choose your base, vanilla or chocolate, and then you choose what you want to mix in, and they run it through a machine, and it does a better job mixing it in than like a Dairy Queen Blizzard, because it gets evenly distributed. But we both got chocolate, and the chocolate ice cream was so delicious.
Very rich, very deep chocolate flavor, super creamy, not icy at all, creamy and smooth. It'll be a spot whenever we're in that area, we'll go back. If they're open, we will stop in every time we're near it.
Every time we're driving through there.
So we really enjoyed it. We didn't get anything else from there to go, but we really enjoyed the ice cream. The ice cream was really good. I think at that point I decided I wanted lunch, and I was in the mood for barbecue. We tried to go get barbecue, but the barbecue place was closed because they were having technical issues with one of their fan motors. So we didn't get that. So we just ended up, I think we were boring and just ate our ham and cheese and pickles. Went back to the outlets, and we went back to the outlets. That's whenever I got my waterproof pants.
That you haven't had to wear yet.
No. Well, I have them, so I'm glad I have them. So now I'm completely waterproof. We need to get that sorted out. What?
I don't know if I would go so far as to say completely waterproof.
I'm mostly water. My boots are water resistant. We'll go as far as to say water resistant.
How many people did we hear saying that they were hunting for floats in full waterproof gear, and they were like, it doesn't matter, we were soaked at the end of our hunting?
Well, my jacket that you wear soaks through after about 30 minutes. So, I mean, yeah, even with waterproof clothing, I guess, is only so waterproof. But we did that. We tried to find Whitney some waterproof stuff, but it wasn't happening.
They did not have any sizes for me.
There were no women's sizes that would fit Whitney. There were no men's sizes that would fit Whitney. Your dog is rubbing her head on the floor and having a ball right now.
She just drank some water. She's happy now.
So we did that. And at that point, we took the recommendation of the woman from Depoe Bay. What?
I'm wondering where you're going, and I just realized what this picture is from.
This was when we went down to Depoe Bay and went to Rodeo Point.
Oh, yeah, she is the one that told us that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the woman at Nestucca told us about a point in Depoe Bay, Oregon. Isn't Depoe Bay the home of the world's smallest marina?
Harbor.
World's smallest harbor is in Depoe Bay, Oregon. Cute little town.
I love Depoe Bay. I definitely want to spend more time there.
Depoe Bay is awesome. Depoe and Yachats are 2 really awesome places. But we went over to Rodeo Point and sat there. We sat there for at least an hour and just watched the waves. There were no whales to see.
Yeah, she said she recommended that point because she's seen whales really close to the shore there. So we went and sat and watched, but I don't think it's quite the right time of year to be seeing whales on the Oregon coast.
Yeah.
I think for the most part they've migrated south for the winter, but we hung out there. And then when we were done hanging out there, we decided to go. That was when we went back into Depoe Bay, right?
Yeah, we went
Is
in
that when we
Depoe.
went and met, what's his name, Joey?
Joey.
That's when we went and met Joey at
Are you, are you going to remember? Crushed and Crafted?
Crushed and Crafted, a little beer and wine bar, which was quite fun.
Yeah. And I mean, I think he was in the middle of moving, is what he said, because we went in, there were boxes everywhere, there were wine bottles lining the bar top.
Well, he said he sometimes he I think he said the last couple years he hasn't even opened the first couple of weeks of January, which is when we were there, but he said he was in kind of a limbo because there was something going on with his mom back east and he didn't know what was going on with her, whether he was going to have to leave or not, but
I don't remember all that. I just remember walking in, like in my notes, the first thing I have is chaos.
it was chaos.
Plenty of wine to choose from. He had no shortage, but it was also kind of hard to tell how much wine he had because it was such chaos. Like there was just so much stuff strewn about.
It was a very laid back environment.
Very laid back, very welcoming environment. And do you remember where he was from?
Yeah, Louisiana.
What part?
New Orleans?
Was
Metairie?
it Metairie?
Metairie.
He was from Metairie, which is really funny because I feel like it's crazy enough to see other people out in the wild that are from Louisiana.
Out in the wild.
And then you got this Metairie transplant in one of the most random towns, Depoe Bay, Oregon,
Yeah.
running a wine and craft beer shop.
But yeah, we'll definitely go back there too.
Crushed and Crafted was really cool. Just good spot. He didn't have an extensive beer list, but he had like six beers on draft, 2 ciders.
I really feel like it was more beers than that. I thought he had more like, oh, you're talking you list the cider separately. I was thinking just how many taps he had, and I thought it was like 10
I
or
think he had
12.
8. It could have been 10, but I feel like it was mostly beer, 75% beer, 80% beer.
It definitely felt like it was more than 4 and 4.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Either way.
He had a good wine selection. He had wine that Whitney liked, so Whitney got a Pinot Noir and she enjoyed that. We got done there, and what did we do after that? We got done at Crushed and Crafted.
He was also the one that gave us our burger recommendation.
He did give us the burger recommendation. That was when we drove down to Newport for the night and stayed in Newport and decided the next morning that we were going to let Jake make the decision that we were going to go get breakfast.
That's what I was when I was looking just a minute ago at my phone and you were like, what? And I have this picture of the cinnamon roll and I was like, where the heck is the cinnamon roll from?
Nell Scott Breakfast House. So I found this place when I was doing research for this trip. And I found this restaurant that has giant cinnamon rolls, and Whitney loves cinnamon rolls. So I was like, oh, we'll go here. What, do you not love cinnamon rolls?
Do you not love cinnamon rolls?
I do, but I feel like they're definitely more of a you thing. You gravitate to cinnamon rolls more than I do because I never think they're going to be as good as I want them to be. I would rather not get one and not be disappointed than get
always
one.
Chasing that dream of the perfect cinnamon roll.
And I just gave up on it. It's so much easier. Every time I go to a donut shop, I want an apple fritter. Every time I go to a place that has a cinnamon roll, I'm perfectly willing to pass up the cinnamon roll because I doubt it's going to be as good as I want it to be. Cinnamon rolls are tough.
I was texting Alexis earlier and I told her we've been in an apple fritter mood lately, so we're getting an apple fritter every time we go to a donut shop, and she laughed that I said we were in an apple fritter mood.
Well, and then it's also, everyone does an apple fritter at donut shops. Donut shops do a lot of the same stuff. I realize that's silly to say. I could get a glazed donut at a donut shop and have a fair comparison from donut shop to donut shop. But apple fritters are just so good. Like even it takes a really bad apple fritter for me to be like, this isn't worth the calories. I'm not going to eat this. So at least at the end of it, you still get an apple fritter out of the experience. But we went over there. I won't get into everything we got. Nell Scott Breakfast House is a cute little spot if you just want to go get breakfast. I don't recommend the cinnamon roll, but Otherwise, if you're just in a pinch and you don't have breakfast and you want to go somewhere for breakfast, I wouldn't not recommend it for breakfast. I would just tell you not to get the cinnamon roll.
You didn't love the pancake either, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't like the pancake at all. Don't get the cinnamon roll and don't get the pancake.
The savory whatever we got was decent. It was like eggs and chicken, and was there biscuit in there?
We got the house favorite, which was a sausage gravy smothered biscuit with fried chicken, or you can get fried steak with scrambled eggs. You can pick how you want your eggs cooked, but we got scrambled. And then you also get bacon, tomato, and green onions, which we enjoyed that.
And it was nice because they did split it for us.
They split it for us
without us even asking.
No, I think she was just kind of like, they're obviously going to eat everything together. And when they brought the food out, it was like individually plated for both of us. It wasn't just like they took a spoon and slid half of it onto another plate. Like they purposely double plated it for us, which was awesome. So I don't know. 2 out of the 3 things we got, I wouldn't recommend, but the house favorite is what it's called. The sausage gravy and fried chicken smothered biscuits was good. I enjoyed it. We did that and then ended up going over to the D River State Recreation Site again for a walk and to go agate hunting.
Which that area is kind of just almost, I would say, right in the middle of Lincoln City. It's kind of the heart of Lincoln City, which Lincoln City is by no means a large town. You can drive from one end to the other in probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, and D River Recreation Site is right across the street from the last time we talked about Lincoln City, where the Sea Gulp is.
Sea Gulp, that's the name of it.
So you get to the red light, and if you go left, you go to the D River State Rec Site, which is another popular site on the Lincoln City coast for agate hunting. Or you go right there if you're going north, and the Sea Gulp Deli and convenience store, deli and cafe or whatever is right there, and you can go get an amazing sandwich.
Which we refrained from this trip.
We did. I think we both wanted it, but we didn't necessarily need it. So we hunted for a little while. I don't remember if we found any agates or not. We probably did.
Yeah, we found a lot that time.
Did we?
Or was it the next day? Did we hunt again the next day? I don't think we did.
I don't know, probably. But we got done over there and went over to Volta Glass Gallery. We tried going to the Lincoln City Glass Gallery, but it was closed because they were renovating.
They were doing their yearly inventory and
they were doing something
and restocking and stuff.
Yeah, so they were closed, but the woman was nice enough to point across the street and say that Volta was open, and I don't think we would have gone if she wouldn't have told us that.
No, I think they're like sister shops.
The woman at Volta said it's the same owner.
Yeah, so this is just another glass shop, and they have some. I'm really ready to go back to Lincoln City because I want to go into Lincoln. I think it's Lincoln City Glass Center is larger, and that's also where they have their glass blowing studio.
Yeah.
So you can do classes or just watch the glass blowers, but they have some really impressive artists in there that they sell their stuff. I don't know if they glass blow at Lincoln City Glass Center or if they do it elsewhere and then just like commission their stuff at the shops, but it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, but even Volta was really neat.
Oh, like, yeah,
we're talking about Lincoln City Glass Studio a lot, but it's the big one. It has a lot of stuff, but Volta was really neat too.
It was super, super cool. And then we ended up they have
display boxes.
I would call it a lamp base. It's like a little base that a
little LED stand essentially
float sits on top of, and it's got a little
recessed
divot,
bottom.
Cut into it with lights in it, and you can set your float on it and it turns it into a little lamp. So I got one of those and I'm super excited.
That's going to be really neat whenever we have a house and a place to put that.
I'm pumped for it.
That'll be an awesome little like night light to help guide us to the kitchen.
Between that and the myrtle wood,
are we going to go get you a myrtle wood lamp?
We are, before we leave here. And we're going to have the coolest lamps ever.
Yeah, we are. So we'll go do that.
What are those things? Lighthouse.
Were they lighthouses?
Yeah, a Myrtlewood lighthouse lamp from some shop in...
I don't remember.
Gold Beach?
Is it Gold Beach?
I think it's Gold Beach. Yeah,
we'll end up talking about it on one of our episodes when we finally go up there, probably. So we got done at Volta. Whitney got her little display box, which was awesome because those, you don't come across those all that often all that often. I don't feel like you come across them really ever.
I mean, I feel like those are specifically made for
those glass floats.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a neat little thing. I'm glad you got it. We never would have found anything like that would have fit as perfectly for displaying your float as that. So that was awesome. We left there and ended up, I think we tried to go get barbecue again, and they were closed again.
I think we looked and they were still closed. I'm not going to say again closed. They were still closed.
They were still
because they were still fighting. It's not like
they couldn't.
Like, oh,
they
don't want to
couldn't
be
get
open
their
today.
No, they couldn't get their part delivered, so they weren't able to fix their smoker. We'll get it eventually. I'm not giving up. I'm not going to leave a 1-star review because they had equipment malfunctioning and they couldn't open. I'm sure if they could have been open for a weekend where they had thousands of tourists coming in to look for glass floats, they would have been. But we did get to go back down to Depoe now for your burger.
Ugh, the burger, it was so good.
This was when we went down and got Highway 101 burger. I wouldn't call Highway 101 a chain. They have multiple locations.
I think it's only 2 locations.
Plus a food truck.
Oh, I don't know.
They have 2 locations plus the food truck.
Where's the other location? Which town is it in?
I don't remember.
Me either. I'm sure we'll end up at it at some point.
I'd have to look, and I don't trust the internet to be fast enough for me to get on my phone and try to figure it out right now.
I'm looking at these French fries, though, and they look so good.
At Highway 101? Yeah. Was it? They weren't shoestring. They were just thin, crispy, super salty French fries, right?
The other location's in Lincoln City.
Okay, so Lincoln City. Does it show the food truck?
I don't know what food truck you're talking about.
The coffee and donut shop that I kept trying to go to that was supposed to be open that nobody was at, there was another truck in front of it that I told you was a Highway 101 burger truck.
I think that's Newport. Camp 1 Coffee or Camp something Coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's Newport.
And there was a Highway 101 burger food truck set up in the same parking lot.
Anyways.
So Highway 101 burger, would you call it a smash burger?
I definitely would.
It's not like thin, lacy, crunchy smash burger.
But I would call it.
But it was a smashed patty.
Yeah, and it had the grilled onions and the super cheesy gooiness.
Did we get a triple?
Yeah.
We got a triple and split a triple.
And he wrote my name in ketchup and our fry sauce.
So if you go to Highway 101 Burger, when they take your order, they also take your name. And when they take your name for the order, they will write your name in ketchup on the fry sauce when you get your...
Unless I'm just special.
Unless you're just special, and unless everyone else is special that had pictures of it on...
Oh, did you see other
Google
pictures
reviews.
Of it? Oh, I didn't look at that.
So it was good. Highway 101... We're going to go back. We'll get it again.
My favorite burger of the year so far.
So far. Well, it's on the list. I've already added it to the list for the best of. So y'all will hear about Highway 101 again at the end of the year for our best of category. I don't think the best of category is going to be a secret thing until the end of the year. Or should it be a secret thing? Should we not say what we think is going to make best of as we're talking about this and just let it be a surprise at the end of the year?
We're not even going to be able to remember at the end of the year what was on the list until we go back and look at our notes. So I doubt anybody else is.
We're going to talk about Highway 101 again. This is going to be a best of contender.
And then what did we do? We went and watched. I was just wondering what we did after I'm looking at pictures and there's like big gaps in pictures.
I was going to say, you have a picture of my notes.
Because the next picture after the burger is the cake. And I'm sitting here like, why are we such fat kids that we went and got cake from Fred Meyer?
No, we went back down to Rodeo Point to watch the ocean. And we went and sat at Rodeo Point for another, I don't know, hour and a half or 2 hours. Probably drank a beer or two watching the ocean. It was a little bit hazier, a little bit foggier that day. We didn't have quite the same visibility we had the day before, but that's just such a pretty spot to go and watch the ocean. So we went over there and sat there.
Depoe Bay is a great area for fun waves because it's not like beachy.
It's cliffy.
Yeah. Depoe Bay is very cliffy, so you get like waves just smashing into cliffs and sending spray everywhere.
And Depoe Bay is the one with the bridge that everybody goes to where it spouts.
Well, it's not a bridge. It's just a cliff wall.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it's hitting the wall.
Yeah.
And water sprays. We're definitely going to go if we're still out here this coming winter
in our
when,
waterproof clothing when the next king tides come through.
assuming I've found some waterproof pants by then. But yeah, definitely want to go out there for the king tides.
So we did that, hung out there for a little while, and then oh, did we went down to Rodeo Point. I say we drove down the Devil's Punch Bowl, but didn't get out. That was when we were just driving around looking for something to do. And we drove over to Devil Punch Bowl State Recreation or
Oh, that's the spot that it was raining, but is that the spot that we went out the road and there was a little
winery.
winery right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we might go back out there one day, but we didn't go
That's where the
walk.
little coffee shop and winery
Yeah, but
were.
we didn't walk around at all because it was raining and we didn't want to get out in the rain at that time.
So we did that and then went back to Newport and finally got to go to Nye Beach Wine Cellar, which had been recommended to us from one of Whitney's co-workers from Crescent City last year. I say last year, 2023.
Just last time.
Last time. Got to go over there. They have a good selection. They have multiple employees and it's hit or miss. There are some reviews that talk about how amazing an experience some people had, and then there are some reviews where people leave bad reviews about the people that helped them.
Did you read bad reviews? I didn't look
There
at
are a
all.
lot of bad reviews about
The woman.
I don't, it just says the man or the woman. It doesn't say names or anything, and I assume there's more than one man and more than one woman, possibly.
I was gonna say Steve.
People have had bad reviews with a male and a female.
Oh, really? Okay, because I was
Yeah.
gonna say Steve told me the guy is awesome, and then we went and it was a female working, and she was less than interested. Like she told us some information, but she couldn't care less, or
And
didn't act like she could care.
And she was super vague when I asked her specific questions about types of wine. And then she was like, well, this one's good, and this one's good, and this one's good.
Basically, they're all good.
And I told her we were in like the $20, $25 price point range. And then she's handing me like $55, $60 bottles. And she's like, these are good. I'm like, yeah, no duh, they're good. It's 55 or $60. It better be good. No, we're poor people. We're in the, I don't know. I can't say that we're buying $20 bottles and claim to be poor. Otherwise, we'd be drinking Yellowtail. Not that there's anything wrong with
You don't have to be
Yellowtail.
poor to drink Yellowtail.
No, you don't. There are plenty of rich people that drink Yellowtail. I have nothing against Yellowtail.
It gets the job done.
Yellowtail is what built my palate for wine. Maybe that's why I'm not very good at tasting wine. So we got done over there and went back to Rogue Bayfront Public House in Newport again for the second time.
And is this the time that we decided we will not be going back?
We're not going back.
It's not worth it.
It's not. It's just, I like that they let us bring Sandy in. I like that they're dog friendly. I don't like the beer. We never go and get any beer that either one of us are blown away by. And we spent $15 on 3 chicken tenders.
3 good chicken tenders.
No, they were delicious. If you would have sold me those chicken tenders, I said this before, if we were at the Renaissance Festival and they gave me those chicken tenders, I would have been blown away. The difference is that at Rogue, it's $15 for 3 chicken tenders.
With no fries.
And no fries. If we would have been at the Renaissance Festival, it would have been a basket full of fries with 3 chicken tenders, and it would have been half the price.
Maybe.
It would have been $10.
Hopefully we'll find out this summer.
$10 for 3. I mean, they were decent sized chicken tenders. Don't get me wrong. They weren't Raising Cane's sized chicken tenders.
I was wondering if you were going to go there.
If it would have been Raising Cane's sized chicken nuggets for $15, then I would have pitched a fit. But no, they were decent size.
And I'm going to say it, they were better than Raising Cane's chicken fingers.
They were very good. I'm not disputing the fact that they weren't delicious, but I'm just saying $5 for a chicken tender.
William's going to come at me for saying that.
$5 for a chicken tender. I mean, if Raising Cane's could charge $5 per chicken tender, they would.
They might.
I don't know. I haven't looked.
It's been a long time since we've been.
I haven't looked at how much Raising Cane's is. Sorry, if you're not familiar with Raising Cane's, Whitney and I are from Baton Rouge, so there's a little chicken finger, toast, and French fry spot from Louisiana.
I don't think you can call Raising Cane's little anymore. Where did we just see one? San Francisco?
Yeah, I think we saw one in San Francisco.
Is that where I was like, look, Raising Cane's.
But didn't I say they have like 500 locations across the country now?
I have no idea.
So we're definitely getting away from the point right now. So we finished up over there and went and camped for the night. Oh, no. Whitney decided she wanted dessert that night.
Did I decide?
Yeah, you said
Are
you wanted...
Sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. You said you wanted dessert, and I was like, well, we can go to Safeway or we can go to Fred Meyer because they both have really good bakeries. And we ended up at Fred Meyer first and got cake from there. We both got cupcakes, like those big cupcakes.
I was going to say, that's cupcakes. Not a cupcake, babe.
They called them cupcakes. I'm not calling it a cupcake on my own.
Did they call it a cupcake?
Yeah, they called it a cupcake. So we got those.
Biggest cupcake I've ever seen. And we ate them, the whole thing.
Yeah, we did. Sorry, I figured you could fill in the space while I was trying to drink water. So we got over there, stayed in Newport again for the night, and then the next day, Yachats Bay State Park. We went over.
I asked somebody how to say it. Is that how they said it?
Yakina?
No, I said I would say Yakina, and they said something different.
Did they say Yakina?
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 Not Yakina. Because that's how a Louisiana person would say it.
Yaquina. Yachats Bay State Park. That's the one we went to that had the little neighborhood.
Yeah, we walked around the little neighborhood. You say neighborhood. The gravelish street.
A neighborhood can have gravel streets, but we went over there.
It was like one street.
We drank our coffee. We went for a short walk. I don't even know if we walked. Oh, we got our pretty pictures of the van with the bridge in the background.
With the pretty bridge.
Yeah, we did that. And then didn't get enough walking in there. So we ended up going to Agate Beach in Newport, which we've talked about before, I believe. Agate Beach is just a nice walking beach. It's big. It's expansive. You can take your dog out there and let your dog off leash. There's a lot of space. I don't know if you're supposed to take your dog off leash, but if you go to Agate Beach, everyone has their dogs off leash.
People have their dogs off leash at most beaches.
If a city official hears this and shuts the beach down because it's news to them that people are going to Agate Beach and letting their dogs off leash, it's not going to change anything because people are still going to take their dogs to Agate Beach and they're still going to take their dogs off leash. It's a nice beach. It's huge.
It's huge, and we've never gone during like a summer season. We've only gone in the winter, and there's
no
5
idea
other
how busy
people out
it gets
there
during the summer. We found one random agate during our walk, but I think we went on like a 2 or 3 mile walk. Did that, and then ended up going. Oh, this is when we went to the Driftwood Beach State Recreation Site in Seal Rock, which Seal Rock, I believe, is where Chubby Little Mermaid is, but the Chubby Little Mermaid was not open that day, so we did not get to go over there, but we went to Driftwood Beach State Recreation Site, which was a nice spot to go walk on the beach, but I don't know what to call them. It had those little outlet water flow things that come from the inland and flow across the beach out to the ocean that you have to cross, and the water shifts back and forth. That was where it was north and...
A creek?
A creek? I don't know.
I think they're usually creeks. That's
where
they flow out to the...
When you're walking on the beach and then you look inland and there's water flowing from inland, I guess it could be a creek, and then it just flows out to the beach, and it's deep water, deep enough that you're not just going to walk through it.
I mean, you could walk through. Yeah, it's creeks, because this is Collins Creek, Elephant Rock Creek.
So they had multiple creeks. We started going south on the beach, and there was a really big creek that we couldn't get across. So then we started going north on the beach, and we crossed the first creek that we came across because it was small. And then we got to another creek that we crossed. And then I think the third creek was the one that we gave up and said, we can't cross this. So we went back. And then one of us crossing one of the creeks, I think I got my foot wet. So
yeah.
It was a nice beach, nice little walk. We love walking on the beach, so it's just nice to go out there. Again, I don't know if dogs were supposed to be off leash, but Sandy just likes being off leash. She does better. She's a little nutcase on the leash. She doesn't like it.
She's a nutcase off the leash.
She is. Well, she's a happy nutcase when she's off the leash.
And under control.
She's a stressed little nutcase when she's on the leash.
She's a tired little nutcase right now.
She's recovering from her trip. Sandy's recovering from the big trip that Whitney and I just took. I'm excited to record the episode where we talk about the trip that we just made. So that'll be fun. But we got done at Driftwood Beach State Recreation Site and went to Yachats.
Yachats?
Went to Yachats, and I went to a coffee shop, and I am drinking the coffee. So if you're ever in Yachats, Oregon, I could 100% recommend going to Green Salmon Coffee Co. and getting beans from there. I got an Ethiopian Guji medium roast and really enjoy it.
Is that what we're drinking right now?
Yes.
I'm not as big of a fan of it.
It has a unique flavor.
It feels a little dark to me. It's a little dirty, roasty tasting.
Yeah, but it's not like overly acrid roasty. It has a very unique, earthy, roasty character, but it's not like drinking dark cafe style,
hair on your chest style
hair on your chest, like old man coffee, the kind of coffee that you have to have asbestos mouth to drink because they serve it at 500 degrees. So I like it. It's interesting. They had other stuff, and I don't remember how much we paid for it exactly, but it wasn't astronomical because I'm not paying astronomical prices for coffee, as evidence from the trip that we just got back from, where I refused to pay $27 for a 12-ounce bag of coffee. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. Yeah. Green Salmon Coffee Co. They have fresh, small batch roasted beans in a variety of roasting colors. I don't think they had light.
Roasting colors.
Yeah, roasting colors. I don't think they had a light because I would have gotten a light if they had it. I got a medium, and then they had some dark varietals as well. So, and they were nice. I think they do sandwiches and soups and salads and stuff in there also, but we didn't partake in any of that. What we did partake in though was Luna Sea Fish House. Luna Sea Fish House. You get it?
I was going to say, you said it slower than you normally do. Normally, you just make it sound like straight lunacy.
Luna Sea Fish House. I didn't get the gentleman's name that was working at Luna Sea Fish House, but if you ever go to Luna Sea Fish House, I'm not even going to try. If I try to make his voice, it's going to sound like I'm making fun of him. That.
By the way, is your phone on silent because I'm adding something to the list so it might ding?
Oh, it's still going to ding anyway. Now we're good. So he was you'll know it if you go and you get the man with
Don't
the voice.
Even try.
No, I'm not.
Don't even.
He was awesome though. He was alone serving everyone outside, making sure everyone had what they needed, getting everyone's orders, very friendly, absolutely amazing server.
You didn't save Green Salmon. Do you want to heart it?
Sure. I just haven't made it through there. I haven't left them a review. It's hard to leave reviews for coffee because I buy coffee and then it takes me
weeks in advance,
a week or two to get around to making the coffee. So coffee's a tough one for me to leave reviews for. I normally forget to, so that's bad on my part. But we went to Lunacy. We got the cod and chips. Really enjoyed the cod and chips. We also got some fish tacos. I wouldn't have to have the fish tacos again.
Lots of reviews mention the fish tacos, and it was like a
stewed fish.
I was going to say braised or stewed or something. Yeah, fish, which was not clear in the description.
No, normally if we go to a fish and chips place and they say they have fish tacos, I'm expecting like a piece of fried fish.
Or potentially grilled.
Not that there was anything wrong with it. I'm not saying there was anything wrong with these fish tacos. I just didn't care for them necessarily.
And they were very different from what you would generally expect from fish tacos.
Yeah, so I think when we go back, because we are going to go back to Lunacy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we are going to go back to Yachats.
Well, of course we're going to go back to Yachats. We have to find you a mushroom.
We don't have a whole lot longer.
Do they only do it for a certain time of year?
Yeah, it's through March.
Oh, so we have to go in the next month. That'll be fine. We can do that. But we'll go back over there. And then we got done with fish and chips and, of course, walked around the corner. And there was an ice cream shop, so we had to get ice cream for dessert.
Which we broke one of our rules. We normally try to refrain from getting, like, big commercialized ice cream because it's stuff you can get everywhere most of the
That's not a hard and
time.
fast rule that we really abide by. Let
But
me say slugs and stones.
sometimes you just need some ice cream. So they served Umpqua ice cream, and it was not disappointing.
Don't blow past Umpqua like there's anything wrong with
Their
Umpqua.
their chocolate brownie or
Chocolate
chocolate
brownie thunder.
thunder is delicious.
Yeah, it is. You're making this sound like there's something wrong with Umpqua. Umpqua, if you're listening to this, please sponsor us. I will praise your ice cream up
And
and down the coast.
and they're better than Tillamook. I said it.
Oh, yeah. Also, yeah, you don't even need to pay me, and I'll tell everybody that Umpqua is better than Tillamook. So we did that at Topper's Ice Cream and Candy. Just a little small shop to go into. Nothing crazy. They sell Umpqua. I like Umpqua. I got nothing wrong with Umpqua. And then we went to
Then
one of my favorite spots that we went to the whole time.
I had something that I needed to do for work and needed to make sure that I had internet for it, so we couldn't be moving around. So we went and sat. Do you remember the name of the street?
I do.
Oh, you have it written
I
down.
have it written down.
Yachats Ocean Road was the road that we were on. There's a state natural site. I don't think we were sitting in the natural site. I think it might have been towards the other end of the road.
If you go to Google Maps, there's a green area for parks, and it says Yachats Ocean Road State Natural Site. And if you click on it, it outlines that entire coastal area in red. So that entire area that we were sitting at was the state natural site.
But yeah, that was we sat there for what my class was.
We were there for like 2.5 hours.
Was my class 2.5 or 3 hours?
We were there for a few hours. We were there from midday. We were there probably from 2. We stayed there until the sunset.
Yeah. And the sunset there was really pretty. It was just a nice place.
You got done and we walked the ocean
the road.
Street.
Yeah, and there were so many people out I say so many people. It's
so many more people than we're used to seeing walking.
Well, and the road is lined with houses, and there were literally just people walking out of their houses and walking along the road, which was really nice to see.
The whole time you were doing your class, there were people walking.
Yeah, how pretty it was.
So we're not used to being anywhere and seeing people walk that much. And it had to be people that lived there because they were all friendly to each other. They all knew each other. They ignored us.
Which is kind of nice.
We were just the kids.
They didn't try to kick us out.
We were just the kids hanging out in their neighborhood in our van, taking up curbside street parking space. But there were no signs that said no parking. So we parked and enjoyed it. It was a beautiful spot. It was such a pretty spot.
Yeah, we'll definitely go back.
So we did that.
As I sit and watch videos of the waves and the water spouting up.
So we did that, finished up over there, and we're headed back to camp for the night. We had to stop at Fred Meyer to get beer for me because there was a West Coast Pils that I wanted from Fort George. So we had to go over there and get my beer. Camped for the night, and then the next day we got up and started headed south.
We were already headed south because we stayed in Florence that night.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, I see that now.
That was when we stayed in Florence, and then we drove to the little downtown area and got Did you go buy more coffee? Yeah, you went and bought more coffee.
Yeah, that was the next morning.
Did you buy more coffee?
Yeah, that was at River Roasters in Florence.
And we were walking, and it was so cold.
Oh, it's freezing.
You remember, were you walking in your flip-flops? Yeah, it's like 37 degrees outside or something. Jake's like, I'm just going to walk in my flip-flops. I can tough it out. And we got like 3/4 of a mile down the road. And he's like, we got to turn around. I can't handle it anymore.
It was so cold. I didn't expect it to be that cold. It
was also very windy.
It was windy, and we had a headwind it was so miserable.
But do you remember the impulse buy before we left?
What, my muffin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I went in. So River Roasters is on the river, as its name implies, in Florence. Super friendly staff. They had donuts that looked amazing. Come to find out, the donuts come from Sugar Shack, which is the donut shop in Florence that was so good. Is Sugar Shack in Florence? I don't remember.
No, Sugar Shack's in Waldport.
I don't know. Look for that real quick. But they bring in Sugar Shack donuts, and then they told me that they have a young lady that is local to the area that bakes their muffins. And when I was looking in their display case, the muffins looked absolutely phenomenal. So Whitney and I were walking around, and I decided when we got back to the van and we're getting ready to leave, I was like, hey, can I go get a muffin? Because the muffin, will you share a muffin with me? Because the muffins looked so good. So I ended up getting a coffee cake muffin. It was delicious. It had a super moist, cinnamony interior with a really good streusel on top. Do you remember the streusel?
Yeah, I just looked at the picture. Reedsport. Sugar Shack is in Reedsport,
Which we talked about Sugar Shack.
which is south of Florence.
Oh, it's okay. I was going to say it was north. I had a 50-50 shot.
Waldport is north.
So they have house roasted coffee from medium light. I don't think they do a light roast. I think the lightest they do is a medium light, and then they go up to a dark roast with a few single origin options and a handful of blends. And then if you buy beans, you get a complimentary cup of drip coffee, which I took them up on. So while Whitney and I were walking, I had in one hand our cold brew in my coffee mug, and then I had a cup of hot drip coffee in the other hand. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it very much. Oh, and I got a Guatemala medium light roast is what I got. I don't know if I've drank it or not. I probably did. I'm not sure. I think I just have one more bag. No.
It should be that one.
It is the one that's up there. So I have not tasted.
I was going to say, if we're drinking the green salmon right now, then that would be next.
Yeah, I haven't tasted the River Roasters coffee yet. But that was the trip. Whitney got her float. We got to flit around and enjoy the sights. I think there were more sitting around enjoying the sights, drinking a beer or two.
Yeah, that wasn't a very active trip because we did not have good weather.
We didn't have good weather. We didn't get to do the last 2 days. The weather cleared up. We got to do a little more walking, but our walking's also kind of slowed down because Sandy's just not doing like 6-mile walks with us. She doesn't have it. It's not like she can't physically do it. I think she's just mentally given up.
No.
She said I'm old.
No, Sandy's she just gets tired afterwards.
Sandy's like, I'm 12.
I need recovery time.
I don't feel like walking this much. You can pick me up and carry me if you want to, but I'm just not doing it. Hey, look, there's something over here for me to smell. Hey, there's something else over here for me to smell. Hey, there's something for me to eat. Hey, look, there's something else for me to smell.
She says you need to stop hating.
So, it was a good trip. We enjoyed it. You got your float. We got to hang out in that area. I think we got a little more exposure to Yachats and Depoe Bay, and that kind of grew a like for Yachats and Depoe Bay that we didn't have before, that we have now. Any closing comments? Anything you'd like to say to the people before we get out of here?
Bye.
Bye. That's it.
We'll see y'all next time.
Okay. Bye.